Can you hear me now?
Yeah, better. We can hear you now.
Excellent. So I'm sorry I wasn't able to really hear you.
I think there was some problem with my headphone, I guess. Sorry.
No problem, Smriti. So what do you want me to do? I mean, I'm sorry I wasn't able.
So no, I was just introducing you to our audience today, and I was saying that we'd love to hear your experiences as we go along through the session. So yeah. So to set the tone of the session, the way we'll be going forward is I'll be going through the presentation, and if you have any questions in the meanwhile that you want to ask, please put it up on the Q&A box. Once we are towards the end of the session, we'll take up your questions one by one. In fact, I'll unmute you, all of you, and then you can ask your questions as towards the end of the session. I hope that works for everyone. So to start the session, so with this information session, the objective is to assess if the program is what you're looking for, and the program that meets your requirements, to understand what the program basically is and if it does meet your requirements or not. Then assess if you qualify for participating in the program. So, understanding the skills that you have, your qualifications, and if you would be able to, enroll for this program. Then get a feel of the program. So, once Hussaini shares his experiences, we'll be able to understand how the program goes throughout these 15 months and what are the nuances that are there. Then launch and manage the application process. So we'll also, touch upon what is the application process for the people who want to apply, and what are the things to be taken care of while you are there in the application, and then what will be the process to get the offer for the program. So before I start, I just wanted to present this slide, which is a World Economic Forum insight that we have. So what they say that, in the fourth industrial revolution, the companies that are agile, that are ready to adapt at technologies and other things that come their way, they are flexible. These are the only companies that will survive. And similarly, individuals who are constantly reskilling and upskilling themselves are the people who will continue to find jobs and continue to grow in their career. So, this is what I wanted to put forward, because we have the audience that we have today are people who, have an ambition to upskill themselves, and that's why they have joined here. So this is something that I wanted to bring forth. So executive MBA would be like a stepping stone in your lifelong journey, as you want to reskill yourself and upskill while you're still there, working in the corporate world. So the next I would like to bring forward is the ISB governing board. So how does a good governing board matter for a school? So, why is the reputation of the governing board so important for an MBA school? So it is this governing board. If you can see, there's the who's and who of the industry are there in the ISB's governing board. These are the people who, help to maintain the quality of the brand. And any business school, for that matter, any business school globally, you can assess the quality, or the quality of the program can be assessed by the governing board of that school. These are the people who help to maintain the quality of the brand, and these are the factors that give advantage when you associate yourself with the brand. Because once you graduate and wherever you go, this is the brand that you'll be taking along with you. So that is the reason why a governing board is so important. So whenever you are choosing a school, or an MBA school to, upskill yourself, please, I would suggest you to have a look at the governing board once, because that will help you to understand, how the quality of the school is, how the reputation of the school is. Then the academic partnership. So as you can see, ISB has an academic partnership with the MIT, Kellogg, Wharton, Fletcher School, and London Business School. So what does an academic partnership do when it is associated with a school? So these are the partnerships that help the schools stand apart, because these schools help ISB and the programs at ISB to design the program and the curriculum. We have access to the faculty from all of these schools, which help to maintain the quality of the courses and the curriculum of a program that you enroll with. So this is also one of the key factors that you should look at when you are making your search for EMBA program. So, had you been today, we would be having a physical session with you in our campus. I would have taken you around the school and I would have showed you different corners of the school. But since today we are having a virtual session, so just a picture from one of the most activity dense areas or corner of the school that I want to put here. This is the library, or the learning resource center as we call it. And the people who love reading books, this is like a mecca for them. It's always open, and as a student at the school, you'll get access to this library, and whatever material you want to go through, or newspapers or journals that you want to base your assignments with, you get access to all of them here. So what does a PGPMAX program look like? So it's an executive MBA. It's a 15-month duration program, and in these 15 months, you'll be coming to the campus for 1 week every 4 to 6 weeks. So in a span of 15 months, it comes to around 12 weeks in total. And the class will be typically of 70 students there. In these 12 weeks, there'll be 12 modules. Each week will be one module, and each week will have 2 courses. So there'll be 24 courses that will be taught to you during these 12 weeks. In these 12 weeks, 10 weeks would be Hyderabad and Mohali. So around 7 weeks approximately would be at Hyderabad, 3 weeks at Mohali, 1 week in US, which would be Wharton Business School, and 1 in Asia. So earlier it was SEEBS in Shanghai, and because of the current Indo-China relations, it could be one of the schools in Asia, probably Singapore or Hong Kong, although it's not finalized yet. But yeah, it would be one in Asia, definitely. The core themes that are taught at PGPMAX program are based on strategy and leadership. So although the courses do have these finance, operations, HR aspects, but the core themes that that these courses revolve around is strategy and leadership. So Hussaini, would you want to share some of your experiences at the PGPMAX program when you were here in the campus?
Absolutely, and thank you. Thank you for inviting me, Smriti. Apologies, I think looks like there was some technical glitch, wasn't able to speak any earlier. Right, and I see great participation. I think there are more than 70, 80 people on the call. So I mean, that shows the interest and excitement that people have about the ISB brand, right? So I think, I mean, there's so much to talk about, right? About the experiences that you really get from the classes, from the campus, kind of doing the projects with your class cohort. And I think the international immersions that, as Smriti talked about, right? USA, Asia. We went to Wharton School, we went to SEEBS at that time. I think everything is unmatched, right? I mean, we all know, and there's nothing that I need to talk about ISB as a brand. It's the #1 school in India. We all know that. right? I think what you do not know is what you really get out of the programs that, especially the PGPMAX program for senior executives, especially, you know, people who really want to now, I mean, who really have done great in their career already, and now want to do something, get the fundamentals of business, of strategy, of leadership, right? And want to take a big leap. I mean, either they want to grow further, they see some sort of glass ceiling that they want to kind of overcome and do something larger than what they are currently able to achieve with their successful careers. So I think it's ISB really gives you that exposure. It really equips you with the tools that can help you achieve what you really want to, right? Uh, I think it's an amazing experience. I mean, I would probably be happy to talk about individual experiences or probably any questions that you guys may have later in the session. But I think it's an amazing program, especially designed. I mean, I think it's really designed for senior executives, right? So before I decided picking ISB PGP Max, I of course did a lot of lot of research. In fact, I applied to two different schools. One was Oxford Side Business School, another was ISB, and I had offer from both these schools, right? But I think when I really kind of spend some time deciding which offer should I really pick, I think ISB was the most encouraging and most. I mean, I think it was the best one, given that it is in India, right? And I think you have access to campus whenever you want to visit there, right? And I think while it's in India, the faculty actually is across. They really invite the faculty, best of the best faculty from all over the world. So most of our professors who conducted the classes were from Wharton, from Kellogg's Business School. I mean, international faculty, best in their in their industry, in their domains. There's nothing like ISV for sure. Right? I mean, there's so much to talk about. I think I probably would be able to answer any questions and speak about individual instances, about the classes, about the class cohort, about the projects that we did, and I think about the international immersion that we have, and the various courses that are covered part of the curriculum. But it's unmatched. It's the best thing that I did. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Sam. Thank you for that. So, about the PGP Max curriculum, I wanted to, highlight the curriculum here. So, as I said, there'll be 24 courses that will be taught to you during the course of the program, and 10 weeks would be in India, and 2 weeks would be international immersion. So, as you see, the curriculum is built in a way. The blue ones that you see are the ones that are taught in India, and the highlighted ones in yellow are the international immersion courses that will be taught to you. So global strategy and organization and innovation and entrepreneurship would be taught to you. I think, Hussaini, it's in Wharton. Global strategy and organization, as far as I know.
I'm sorry, if that was a question for me, can you repeat that, Smriti?
So I was asking, global strategy and organization was in Wharton, right?
Absolutely, yes. And I think, I mean, if you ask me, that's one of the best course that would really change your perspective about strategy, about mergers and acquisitions. I mean, we have the best professor taking it from Wharton. We really went into a lot of details. I think we had some of the CEOs from US invited to the class. They covered about their experiences getting involved in strategy, in merger and acquisition projects that they were involved in. And yes, I think that's the best course. I think if you ask me, which is the best of all the 24 courses, that's one of the best for sure.
Sure. I think that has been the vote unanimously all across your cohort, I guess. So,
that's right, yes.
Yeah. And these are the ones, corporate strategy and acquisitions, mergers and acquisitions, and competitive marketing strategy are the ones that are taught in the other immersion, and the blue ones in India. So as you can see, the courses are, although fundamentally, based on HR or finance or operations or strategy, but the core value in all of these courses that you get is more of strategy and leadership. So, you know, as you see, leadership and you strategic negotiation. So how do you negotiate, you know, to a stakeholder when you're projecting a plan? So these are the subjects that are, you know, being taught to you. And Hussaini, if you would like to throw, you know, some light on your experience at both the international immersion, so China and and I think you went to Kellogg's as well, right?
Right. So we spent a week in Wharton Business School, 1 week in Kellogg's, and 1 week in for Seeds Business School in Shanghai. So I think, yes, no, all the three uh, international immersions were amazing. I think, as I said earlier, Wharton was a class itself, right? It's a class apart from everything. Uh, uh, I mean, it's you really both the professors who covered. I mean, we covered marketing, strategic marketing, and strategic corporate strategy. Both of them are very core for executives, right? I mean, we really want to learn about corporate strategy, mergers and acquisitions. We want to get better understanding about competitive marketing. So both the courses were class apart. We really, and again, as I said earlier, uh, the classes included not only the faculty of course covered the classes. They also invited external speakers almost every day, right? We had CEOs visiting to the class, talking about their experiences, getting involved in mergers and acquisitions. Uh, we actually had another visiting faculty who spent some time covering about his experiences, his kind of research on acquisitions and merger and acquisitions and all. Uh, then we also had an opportunity to really go around the campus, see the campus. Again, I think in Wharton and Kellogg's, both the campuses. In China, when we went to Seeds, we not only had the classes, but we also had an industry visit where we went to one manufacturing company in China, where we saw how they really do that uh, sort of advanced manufacturing and the latest technology that they use, and how they really organize the workforce there, right? We also had an opportunity in China to visit one of the technology company as well, where the company is leveraging AI and ML to do some computer vision work. So we saw how they really started the firm, how they really built that capability, and how they are really kind of now going beyond in the international markets, and what strategies are they adopting to do that. We were also, I think, for that particular firm in China, we also covered a case study to see how the firm really was founded, right? I mean, the gentleman from, I think he spent some time working in US, then came back to his country, that was China for him. He came back to China, then he decided to start his own firm, and how he really kind of worked towards building that organization, right? How we really gathered the skill set required to build the firm. So we covered the whole case study. We also had an interaction with the founding team, where he gave us some of his challenges that he's trying to sort out in his business, especially around international expansion, right? So we gave him some solutions, worked out with him. It was really different experience. So I think, I mean, this the value, right? You don't get these opportunities in any other school, right? I mean, it's the ISB brand that really matters. When you visit to these countries like US and China, you don't get an opportunity to interact with CEOs in those countries, right? It's because of the ISB brand that you get those opportunities. You not only get the opportunity to visit to their companies, their offices, but also interact with the founding team, with the CEOs of those companies. So I mean, it was really very it was a value add. I really learned a lot, had a great experience discussing the problem for the company. So both all the three visits were amazing.
Thank you, Saini. So, Hussaini, we get a lot of queries that, you know, somebody's from the operations background or somebody's from HR and finance, And since PGPMAX is a general EMBA program, there's no specialization as such. So how how did it help you? Because you must have come from a certain function. So how did a general EMBA program help you in your career? So if you could throw some light on that, since we are on the curriculum thing.
Yeah, no, I think that's a very good question. So ISB offers three different programs, right? It have its the PGP program, which is like a full-time 1 year program. Then it has a PGP Pro, which is a weekend program. I think the PGP Max program that we're talking about now is actually for senior executives who actually have already done good in their career, right? And now they want to actually see what more can they do. Can they build certain vision and break the barriers and achieve something larger than what they have achieved? So I think the question has two parts to it, right? I mean, I'm primarily from technology background, right? Uh, and I think my intention was to understand what it really takes to to get into that CXO bracket, right? What should I really learn? What fundamentals should I have, right? What network should I build around to achieve it? So I think the PGP Max program is designed to equip you with all these capabilities. It covers the strategy part, leadership part. It also covers finance in very large detail. So we had more than four courses on finance where we really went into, we understood accounting, we understood uh, finance, we understood corporate finance. Uh, I mean, it covers all the financial aspects of what you really need as a senior executive. So that's one part of it. The second part of it is your class cohort, right? That's another. I mean, I don't think you get this in any other school. ISB gets you the best of the cohorts that you can really have. So my class was, I think, 68 people, and everyone was an SME in their own domain, right? So we had a good number of CEOs in the class, a good number of directors from different multinational organizations. We have finance professionals in the class. We had marketing professionals in the class. We of course have technology professionals. So I think when you work on the projects, you really get that time to spend with them, right? When you really collaborate with them on various projects, and you get the exposure, you understand how to handle a financial problem, you understand how to really solve any problem through technology, right? You understand how to market something because you are actually working within a marketing expert, not just an expert, a leader from marketing domain in working with you on your project, right? So it's I think you really get that broader exposure to almost all the domains other than what is covered in the classes by the faculty. You really get the exposure working with those experts and the leaders in their own domains. And each of the domain that each of the class actually have its own projects. So you really get a great understanding of finance, and not only understanding. I'm sorry. So you also get an opportunity to work on finance problems as well, right? You really work out balance sheet, you work out financial projections, you work out valuations. And when you do that, of course, you learn it from your faculty, but you also have a finance leader working with you who would guide you how to do it yourself, right? So I think the course give you all these, I mean, it gives you all in fact, best of everything. And not only it finishes here, you actually build the network with these experts in the industry. So now I think, let's say in my current role, if I have any problem regarding finance, I know who to reach out to for some guidance to it, right? If I have to do something regarding marketing, I know who I should speak to get some better understanding on how I should really put a strategy around marketing for my product. uh, right? If I want to do something around say technology, while I'm a technology expert, but I can also reach out to someone who I think is well equipped than me to guide me on any technology solution. So you really build that network, you build that capabilities through the program.
Thank you, Zain. That was a lovely thought there. So, since we already spoke about the international immersion, so I'll just tell you that one of the international immersions would be in Wharton. The earlier one we had in Seeds, but right now we would be having one in Asia. So the idea of having an international immersion is to, you know, give you access to global content that is taught there. Uh, how how mergers and acquisitions, happen in an international scenario. That is one of the topics that could be dealt with. So, it focuses more on the global aspects because uh, executives who are in senior leadership roles, they not only cater to the domestic market, but they also have to look at other geographies. And that is the reason why the international immersions are being kept for the program. The faculty at PGPMAX, it's a big part of the learning when you are associated with a program, who has the senior most faculty who will be teaching you. So you'll be having Bruce Allen, Prashant Kale, and Bhagwan Chaudhary, Jay Anand, who would be, coming and teaching you. So it's a mix of visiting and resident faculty that we have at ISB. So, you know, uh, this is something that you really look forward to when you're in the campus. So, Hussaini, do you like, on a lighter note, do you want to highlight any faculty that, you really loved attending the class, and how was your experience with them?
I'm sorry, Smriti, can you repeat that again? There is again some network problem.
No
Sorry.
issues. So I was asking, did you have any favorite faculty during the course, and how was your experience with them? If you could throw some light there.
Well, thank you. And I think if you could Google out these names, all of them are the best in their own industry right now. They're best of the best that you could really get. I think I would probably start with Prashant Kale. I think you should just Google out Prashant Kale and you would learn about who he is. Um, I mean, one of the best professor to learn strategy from. I mean, every minute of the class, we really learned something out of it. He really makes sure that the whole class understand the concept of what strategy is all about, right? I mean, one of the best professors. I think you should just Google out. I think all of them are best. I mean, I think I also see Zahir or Professor Zahir on the screen. Again, another one of the best professors on strategy. I mean, everyone is best in their own domain and in their own knowledge area. And again, not only the classes, I think they are reachable now. So just 2 weeks back, I actually reached out to one of the professor for some guidance on a new role that I was deciding to pick up, and they are very approachable. So it's not that you finish your classes, you finish your program, and then you're out of the school. No, it's not like that. You actually built in a relationship with them that continues even after the program. And I still reach out to them frequently, to most of them, not to just one or two professors, to most of them, asking for some guidance. In case if I'm struggling to decide on something, I reach out to them for their guidance, and they actually reply back to you. They speak to you, and they continue to guide you in case if you're struggling on any of the business problem that you're trying to solve. So I think, and I'm not sure if you would get this faculty anywhere else outside, right? If you see here, I think Professor Simi Kedia is from Harvard. She taught in Harvard for a long number of years, right? And it's just because of ISB brand that we get the faculty from all these international schools to come and teach you. Uh, I don't think that's an possibility in any other business school. So all of them are best in class, and I think it is just to sort of close out. It's just not the class; it's a relationship that you've built with the faculty, and that will continue for your life now. And I think I certainly reach out to them. As I said, just 2 weeks back, I had a conversation with one of the professor about some career decision that I was about to make, and he was really approachable. Not only replied back to my email, but asked me to call on his personal mobile number. And I reached out to him, and we spoke for almost 30-35 minutes. And he really guided me on how I should really approach to the problem that I was trying to approach to solve. So I think I mean this is what you would get, right? Which is unmatched.
Thank you, Sani. I think this is unanimous all across, because Prashant Kale is one of the favorites all across the batches, what I have heard. So thank you for speaking that out. So, so this is how your class typically would look like when you are a part of the PGPMAX program. So the classes start generally at 8:30 in the morning on a Saturday, and typically ends at 5 o'clock in the evening. So there are 2 courses that will be taught to you. So say if the week consists of a marketing and a strategy course, so first half would be the first course, which would be marketing. The second half would be strategy. Ends at 5 o'clock. And then you'll have other, assignments to do, or there will be speaker sessions or career sessions that would be there. And then it ends next Friday. So that is the 1 week that you'll be spending at the campus. And generally on Fridays, you have a term and exam of the week courses that you were doing, and you depart from the campus on a Friday, and then you meet after 4 to 6 weeks for the next week of sessions. And the academic calendar is there on the website if you want to have a look at that to decide on your plan ahead. So please feel free to download the academic calendar there on the website. It will give you an idea on when the courses would be held at the campuses. Next, I'd like to talk about the pedagogy. So, in terms of pedagogy, the first touch point will be the online preparatory modules. So when you're given the offer, you'll be given a Harvard pre-reads, which will typically consist of financial accounting or spreadsheet modeling or economics to, just brush up your basics, so that when you come in class, you're ready and to take on whatever the faculty teaches. So that's why it is given to you. Then there are pre-course reading materials. So generally, when you come to the class, the weeks that you're not there at the campus, you'll be given reading materials. So, to go through, or case studies that you'll be given, to go through before you come to attend the sessions. And then there'll be simulations that will be given to you during the course of the program. So that's how the pedagogy is. Career services. So this is something we have introduced, for the current cohort.
And I think, Smriti, if you allow me, I want to talk about case studies. And I think, trust me, I mean, in fact, it looks pretty simple. You come for 5 days, and then then you're actually out for a couple of weeks, and you come back next month. But I think the pre-course reading material, it in itself is a lot of hard work. You really have to before you come for the class, you really get the case studies pre-reading for the class, which is a real value. Every case, I think, as we covered earlier, the faculty is really world class, right? And when they pick the cases, they really pick the cases which really makes you think about how to think about a particular business problem or business challenge, and how in that particular case that organization worked out it, and how they really sorted out that particular business challenge. It needs a lot of thinking. It needs a lot of work. So I think it certainly takes a lot of effort to spend before coming for the class. And I think it's not that, you feel you're spending efforts on it. You really get involved in it. You really get excited reading the case studies and reading the case material before going for the class. And I mean, if you're not prepared, you actually feel embarrassed in the class, right? Because professors ask you questions. And I think if you feel embarrassed if you're really not prepared, so you get that passion, you get that commitment to really spend time and do your studies. I think in the sort of 10-12 months of the program, I think I read more than what I have read in the last 10 years probably, right? So you really have to prepare and study a lot, right? And I think the case studies are are really worth. And I think most of the case studies which are relevant around strategy, technology, and leadership, I still sometimes go through after the program to get the sense of how say Satya Nadella really solved about that culture issue in Microsoft, right? How I mean, you really go through those materials now after the program as well to get that knowledge and get that exposure which was captured in that particular case. So it's really great value from the pre-course reading as well as the case studies. And I think simulations which are covered in the class, and I think it's really like a game where you actually team up with a couple of people and you play and you see you put your real time experience and knowledge into it. It's an exciting thing to do.
Hosseini, would you like to speak about your term and exams? Because that is something I get a lot of queries for. How are the exams like, and how to deal with that?
I think it's like any other exam, but here you really the questions would actually ask you to think about a business problem and put your understanding and how you would really solve it, right? It's like any other exam, and it's a classroom exam where you given a time to really think about the problems which the professor want you to think about, and write it accordingly, right? Uh, I mean, I think it's like any other exam. I think you have to study, you have to work hard before going for the exam.
Thank you, Hussein. As I was saying, we have recently introduced these career transition services as a part of the PGPMAX program. So, since placements are not a part of the program, or rather any EMBA program globally, placements are not a part of the program. But yes, career transition services would be there to help you out. As the name suggests, it will help you out to transition and equip you with all the levers that you need to grow in your career. So, for example, executive coaching by the industry leaders is one of the sessions that you could look at, and networking events, guest speaker sessions, and the alumni support, industry visits. So these are some of the aspects of the career transition services that you would be a part of. So, as we speak, we have one of the career transitions, service sessions going on with, I think, the placement coordinator of the Wharton on how to deal with the transitions during your executive MBA, what to do and what not to do. So these are some things that you will look forward to. So talking about industry diversity. So, at the program, the PGPMAX program, we make it a point that the class is as diverse as possible, so that, you get that peer learning, from the cohort that you're a part of. So as Hosseini said that, as much as you learn from the faculty, the equal amount of learning happens in the class when you're part of a diverse group such as this. So as you see, we have people from IT services, products, education, and others constitute a very big chunk of it. So we have people from the defense, and entrepreneurs are also a part of the program. So making the class as diverse as possible so that you can derive maximum learning and benefit out of it. Hosseini, would you like to throw some light on your cohort experience? How was your cohort like, and how was your experience like dealing with them?
Right. So I think I sort of talked about it earlier as well, right? So I think our class was a 68 member class, and I think we had, I think, more than 6 or 7 CEOs for different companies. We had directors from multinational firms. We have entrepreneurs who actually did it from scratch, who really built their organizations from scratch, right? We have CAs, we have finance professionals, we have technology people. I mean, we have almost everyone from different industries. I mean, it sort of covered almost every industry, and these are not typical SMEs or typical leaders that you find in industry. These are actually the people who did on the ground, who are experts in their industry. right? And everyone came. I mean, of course, ISB do the filtering and they get the best of the best people for you. So it's not that you are picking a leader to work with. It's something that ISB, as per their benchmark, as per their standards, pick the class cohort. So you really get the best of the best class. And I think the whole class is designed in a way where you have projects, where you have simulations, where you work with each of the individual in the class, and you build that relationship, and that goes on for life, right? And that's I think if you ask me, that's the most valuable thing that I have actually gained, where I still have, I mean, we still have different forums where we connect on regular basis. We interact with different domain experts, right? In case I think for life now, you actually have someone from almost every. I mean, you have a person to go to for different industry, different domain now. And I mean, they have this willingness to help because you're now part of the ISB alum group, right? So I mean, they feel responsible to help you in case if you need something from them. Likewise, I think you actually feel obliged to support or give some guidance in case if someone needs to know something about your industry or about your domain. So it's the best in the best that you could get. And this is ISB, right? So they really filter out the people before they get all of them into your class. So they are leaders in their own domains, and the best people that you could speak to if you want to learn about their domain.
Thank you, Zaini. So, the typical class at PGPMAX is we have 70 people, on an average in a class. The average experience in the class is 40 years. Sorry, the age is 40 years, and the average work experience in the class is 16 years. And there's a maximum representation of industries, as I said. So around 17 plus industries are represented in the class. In terms of salary, so we get a lot of questions on what is the typical range of salary that you're looking at. So salary is not a criteria of selecting a candidate, but yes, it forms an important aspect when you are being judged as an EMBA program. So pre-MBA average salary, the latest graduating class that we had, and as per the purchasing power parity exchange rate, it was $251,000, which would approximately come to around uh, 50 lakhs or something. So that was the average pre-MBA salary in the class that we had. So, although the average experience of the class is 16 years, but we do have people who are in the bracket of 10 to 12 years, and 20 plus years is also quite a substantial number of people that we have. So although the average years of experience is 16, but you'll find people having 10 to 12, 12 to 14, and 20 plus years of experience in the class as well. So so my point of saying is that even if you have a 10 to 12 years of work experience and you are in a role that you think that you are on the trajectory of a senior executive role, or you're aiming at it, please do not hesitate to join the class, because you will find people from that bracket also in the class. The career impact that PGPMAX has. So as per the Economist EMBA ranking of 2020, around 80% of the alumni were promoted or grown in their company within 2 years or after their graduation. In terms of salary, there was a 40% increase in the pre-MBA salary on their graduation. So the average salary of the recent graduating class, from $250,000 to 352,000 USD on the purchasing power parity exchange rate. This was the average salary of the most recently graduating class, and 63% of the students had their salary increases 2 years after the graduation. So these are some of the statistics that the PGPMAX class has as per the Economist EMBA ranking. So to speak about alums, Hussaini is there. He's a 2019 batch. We have Dr. Mahesh Joshi, who was the PGPMAX founding class of 2011 when the program was started. And he progressed from executive co-chairman of Society for Emergency Medicine in India to a CEO of Apollo Home Healthcare Limited. Then we had Signa Ghoshre, a PGPMAX class of 2015, who progressed from an AVP at ADP Private Limited to a senior director at PayPal. Then we have Vaijayanti Mala Balsare, who was a PGPMAX class of 2014 and progressed from a senior manager at PwC to partner at BDO India. So BDO India is one of the accounting firms for people who don't know about it. Then Firoz Mohammed, he was a PGPMAX class of 2013 and progressed from a senior vice president at Hitachi Consulting to chief operating officer of Hitachi Consulting. So he progressed in the same organization, as you see. So before we progress there, so, Hussaini, would you like to speak about your growth trajectory before you joined PGPMAX and after the graduating the class?
Right, and before I talk about myself, right, I mean, I could actually give you a good number of examples of people from my class who changed industry, who changed the organizations. And within, I mean, I completed my course, in fact, last year, right? I was class of 2019. So within a year itself, we certainly see a great career progression for quite a few people from our class itself. Some of the people changed the organization. Some of the people actually have grown within the same organization within just a year, right? I mean, I think I mean, if you really think about the career growth within a year, the possibilities would be that people really start applying the knowledge and achieve something within this short period itself. And also, not only that, people who switch the company, they realize they really utilize their knowledge, and they utilize the brand value of ISB, where in industry you get recognized as an ISB graduate, right? You are now, after finishing the program, you would be an ISB alum, and people respect you for being an ISBN in that way, right? So you were actually seen as a different person altogether in industry, right? So it gives you a lot of value. For me, I wanted to stick to the same organization. I work for JP Morgan and Chase, and I am continuing to work here. I was actually leading intelligent automation space in JP Morgan. Now I've picked up some additional responsibilities as an India lead for global security technology, along with being a site lead for intelligent automation. So I think people start recognizing the value that you start adding into the various meetings that you represent, that you participate, and you really start putting a strategy on how and where you could use the knowledge that you have gained studying in ISB, and you start seeing value coming out of that, right? And I mean, for some it takes a year, for some it takes 2 years, but you really start seeing people putting that value into practice and growing in their careers. So I think, I mean, there are quite a few examples. Not only this, while I wasn't keen to change the organization, because for me, JP Morgan sponsored the PGPMAX program. So I was actually sponsored by my organization. So I wasn't really keen to change the organization. But I mean, I think I can actually say that on the call. I actually got quite a few offers in last 1 year. In fact, I had an offer from as a deputy CEO for one of the China-based finance organization. I think I don't know if you heard of the company called Home Credit. So I had an offer from Home Credit as a deputy CEO for China. I mean, I wasn't really keen to move, especially given the COVID situation last year. So wasn't really interested to change the organization. I mean, right now. So didn't accept it. And not only that, I had couple of offers from my cohort itself, people who from my class, they reached out to me saying, they have opportunities in their organization for senior roles in innovation, technology, and all. So you get enormous opportunities with your network, with your brand reputation, brand that you have carrying with you, being an ISBN, right? Not only that, within the organization that you're currently working, people start appreciating the value that you start contributing, right? The knowledge that you've gained from ISB, of course, you want to use that, right? You spend 1 year studying in ISB, where would you use that knowledge? So you start thinking, where can I use this concept? How can I put a strategy around what I'm currently doing? How can I plan better? How can I really start creating more value? And that pays you out. you certainly would see a lot of growth and a lot of respect for that.
Sure. Thank you, Sunny. So, before we move on, I wanted to talk something about the D Labs or Atal Incubation Center. So, as I said, the diverse pool of students that we have at PGPMAX, quite a few of the chunk are entrepreneurs or startup founders. So, for them, I would like to speak about D Labs. So, D Labs is the startup incubation arm of ISB. So what it does is support the entrepreneurs or founders who are working on their startup. So you'll have a lot of sessions uh, if you're associated with D Labs to, how to fund your startup, how to fund your venture, how to, uh, if you have an idea that you are working on, if that idea is correct, and, how to, fine tune that idea to launch in the market. So these are the things that you benefit as a part of D Labs. So D Labs is the incubation arm at Hyderabad, and Atal Incubation Center, or AIC as we call it, is the incubation arm at Mohali campus. Then, the alums who are entrepreneurs, the PGPMAX alum. So Rajni Kasu is one of them. She is of 2014 batch, and she was into corporate as an enterprise architect and went out to, uh, Zippies is one of the startups that she was a co-founder. So Zippies is an outstation rental cab service that she's the founder of. Then we have Manav Gaur, who was the PGPMAX class of 2017, and he's the founder and CEO of Monocept Consulting. Then Nilima Thota, she's a very famous alum and a class of 2018, and she was a senior advisor at Dastra, and then she went on to be a co-founder and a CEO at Sakrata Foundation, which is into the social sector. Then Harsh Singh, who was a PGPMAX class of 2018. He was a technology leader at Accenture. And then after the PGPMAX, graduating PGPMAX, he became the founder and CEO of Killen Advisors. Then, these are a few of the other alums, Meher Afro, Shikha Bagai, Dilip Kumar Khandelwal, and Kamal Gyanchandani. So, the idea to showcase these alums here is, to understand the pool of alumni that we have. So we have around 11,500 alumni as a part of ISB. So, when you graduate from this program, you'll not only be an alum of PGPMAX, but you'll be an alum of ISB. So there's no differentiation in a PGP alum or a PGP Pro alum or an MFAB alum. So you'll all be an ISB alum. Out of these 550 plus are the CXOs and in the top leadership roles. We have demarcations across India and rest of the world. So 79% of them are in India, 21% in the rest of the world. There are 14 chapters, alumni chapters as we call it. So there are 9 domestic and 5 international alumni chapters and 11 special interest groups. So as per the function or as per the role that you're doing, so there are 11 different groups of special SIGs as we call it. These are alums focusing on certain functions. So yeah, and then the lifelong learning that happens. So once you're a part of ISB, so you will be invited to the networking events that happen as a part of the alumni network all around the world, as well as in India, with the executive leaders and industry leaders. Then the career support that you will get through alumni job portal and ISB executive network. Then access to ISB's latest thinking through alumni webinar series. So we conduct a lot of alumni webinar series, which you will be a part of. So, Hussaini, if you could share one of your session experiences apart from the normal classes that you have at PGPMAX.
Yeah, no, there are quite a few. So, I mean, very frequently we have various industry experts come, and I think the alum team really arranges various WebEx sessions with various industry experts to share the knowledge. I think, especially last year, I think we had one almost every week, right? Given the COVID and people are at home, and I think it was really a great time where people were able to spend time to attend these WebEx and these online sessions. So there are quite a few sessions where you learn about, I mean, what's current in market. You learn about economy. You learn about different topics that you're interested. Not only that, I think you can also reach out to the SIGs in case if you're interested to learn about some topics. Say you are interested to learn about blockchain, for instance, right? You can actually reach out to the SIG group. They can figure out, they can get the right industry expert and they could arrange a session for you. So there's a lot of learning. As I said earlier, the with the program, you do not finish your learning. It continues, right? You have access to LRC where you can anytime go and learn. I mean, you have thousands of books there. You have online resources that you can access from our ISB LRC. You have SIG groups, as Smriti already covered, where you can actually be part of your interest, your domain that you're interested in, and you can learn there. And the thirdly, the alum team really arrange quite a few sessions. I think, I mean, if I'm not wrong, Smriti, we had one session almost every week last year in the COVID time. So there's a lot of learning that you continue to happen. And I think finally, I know I mentioned that earlier, but you have access to professors, you have access to faculty. You can reach out to them to discuss about any topic that you're interested to learn or probably are not able to understand. They are approachable. They actually guide you. They will help you get that understanding. They will actually spend time with you so that you really learn and understand that concepts.
Sure. Thank you, Zain. So, some statistics that I would like to throw a light on. So, a lot of people come up and ask about the company sponsorship that they get from their organizations if they're wanting to do an EMBA program. So if we see the trend that percentage of students who receive full or partial, financial sponsorship, it's, the trend is decreasing, not on the rise, as we say, but the trend of getting a company sponsorship is going down as per the EMBA Council. Despite that, the average number of applications for an EMBA program has increased over the years. So there are more institutions who offer an EMBA program, and the demand for executive MBAs is growing over the years. And there's a very specific trend that we have seen in the last few years. The applications for a full-time MBA, has declined a bit in most of the US schools, but on the other hand, the trend for the executive MBA has been quite the opposite. So the number of applications has been on the rise. And as Hosseini also pointed out, and if you speak to other alums also, they are more likely to recommend you an EMBA program rather than a full-time program. The percentage increase in salary, as I already spoke about, as compared to 2019 for an EMBA program, has increased 12%, and 130% increase in the queries for PGPMAX that we receive on a cumulative basis has gone up to 130%. So we have a lot of people coming up, asking about the PGPMAX program because of the format, because of the alums, because of the faculties that we have. So, so probably you are doing your search to join an EMBA program. So, I thought I'll bring it forward. The factors that you should consider while you're choosing an EMBA program. So the first is a curriculum, how vast the curriculum is, what are topics it covers, and what are the subjects that are taught, and what are the core themes of the curriculum that are there in the program. Then the brand, the school brand matters, as I said. So, because you associate yourself with the school, and that is probably one in the lifetime. So, you want to look at the brand also. Then the experience at the campus, if the EMBA program is giving you that campus experience or not, and how long is that? What is the frequency of your coming to the campus? So, because most of the learning happens on campus, so this is something you want to look at. Then the network, because you'll be coming on campus, you'll be interacting with your peers. So, what is the diversity of the class? What is the kind of people you'll be dealing with in your class? What is their background in terms of their where are they coming from, which industry are they coming from? So you should do that research as well. Then the faculty who will be teaching you the programs at the for the EMBA. So what is the kind of faculty? Will it be resident? Will it be visiting? If they are visiting, which all schools do they visit from? Then career services, if they are a part of the program, and what all services, or help in your career you will get being a part or being an alum of that EMBA program. So, these are some of the key factors that I thought I'd list it out, for you to help when you're making a decision to join an EMBA program. So for the August intake, that is 2021 intake, this is the second round of applications that is open right now. The deadline is March 21st, 2021, and the application fee to apply for this round is 15,000. The application requirements. So before you start applying for the program, you should have a bachelor's degree. Then you should have your academic transcripts ready with you. If you have a CV or LinkedIn profile, although this is not mandatory, but I would suggest to share your CVs or your LinkedIn profiles with us so that we can do a profile evaluation before you apply for the program, and suggest you on the ways to go about it. Then there'll be 2 essay questions. So the essays will most likely be on your intent to join the program, and then the challenges that you faced and how did you overcome it. So basically to get an idea of your personality and your intention to join the program. Then there'll be 2 professional or academic references that would be required. So these professional references might not be your current ones. It could be your past ones also. So your ex-colleagues, ex-bosses, vendors, partners, whomever you have had a professional association with. So you could provide that. And the minimum eligibility to apply for the program is 10 years of work experience after your graduation. So this is something that we look at as the basic screening that we do. The next steps, if you're looking forward to apply for the program, please do share your CVs and a LinkedIn or your LinkedIn profile. And, we would like to go through it and have a profile evaluation done before you apply for the program. So this is done to ensure that you land up in a right program and not, you just don't apply for the sake of applying, and help you out in the application process as well as per your profile. So, this is something that you want to do. Then you can contact us also if you have any specific queries. I'll mention the contact details towards the end, but you please feel free to call us or email us if you have any queries. The first thing that you should do when you start your application is find your references, because these are the people who will be writing about you, and a lot of weightage is given to the references, not who the references are, but what they write about you is very important. So you might want to take it very seriously and find your references first. Start your application. The URL is pgpmax@isb.edu/user/. This is the link to start your application. So Hussaini, with this, I'd like to understand your views on finding your references for the application. How did you go about that?
Yeah, so I think you should certainly speak to your immediate manager. He would be the best person to kind of give you or guide you and write a reference for you. So for me, I reached out to one of my business partner that I've worked with in the past. He know me very well, and he actually we worked together for almost a couple of years. So he understand my strengths and weaknesses. So I approached him to see if he could. I mean, he is now a general manager for a multinational company. So we worked together at some point as partners. So he was one person that I thought knows and understand my strengths and capabilities better. So I think in summary, you probably would want to reach out to the people who worked with you closely, who understands your strengths, who understands your weaknesses, right? And people who actually have also achieved good in their career, right? So they could really evaluate and give some better recommendation or better reference for you, right? I think I would start with the immediate manager, whoever you work with, whoever you partner or kind of report to in your organization. And I also probably want to think about people who actually have a kind of seen you performing, seen you doing your work in the past.
Sure. Thank you. So, Sunny, you touched upon a very important point that you should be, your references should be one who know you in and out professionally. They know what your strengths and weaknesses are, and they know so much that they can give an unbiased reference about you. So this is something that we also encourage. Then funding and scholarships. So yeah, the program can be funded by the bank loans as well, although you can still go ahead and fund it by yourself, or your organization can sponsor it for you. But yeah, bank loans are also available. So these are some of the banks that are listed there on our website as well, and the contact details are there in case you wish to understand how the process and what are the interest rates. Please do feel free to call them or get in touch with them. Then about the scholarships. So there are 5 categories of scholarships that we offer at the program. So one is the people working in the Indian Defense Service, then senior executives from the PSC or the government sector, then people associated with the social sector, women executives or entrepreneurs, and then there are merit-based scholarships. So by merit-based scholarships, I mean that your profile gets evaluated as a process, or basically screened, and then you are shortlisted for the interview. The interview is taken by a panel of PGPMAX alums, and then they rate you. So the scores of your application and interview are combined together to give you a final score, and depending on the score that you will receive, the admission committee decides that if you're eligible for a scholarship or not. Although you do need to request for a scholarship, but basis the scores, the decision will be taken if you'll be given a scholarship or not. So these are some of the memories that you'll build when you are graduating from the class. So, some happy memories, some sad memories of not coming to the campus as a student. So, Hussaini, if you could share a moment of yours during the graduation ceremony that you had.
I think the best is your family would see you getting graduated, right? And I think I had my father sitting there in audience. That was a proud moment.
So that is one of the best memories that you'll have of the graduation. So I invite all of you to come and be a part of the exceptional PGPMAX alumni network, and we'll do all the best we can to help you get into the program through helping through your applications or helping through the interview. So please don't hesitate and try to get in touch with us if you can. So this is my name. I'm Smriti Gupta. My email ID is smriti_gupta@isb.edu. My phone number is listed here. So if you want to take a note of it, please do. And please feel free to call us or email us for any queries that you have. So yeah. So Seni, would you like to take a few questions that are there for you in the Q&A box?
Of course, yeah. So sure. I should go to the Q&A tab and...
I'll read that out to you.
Sure.
So, a person is asking, is this the best time to do an EMBA, like a program like PGPMAX? Is it a good time?
I think I think it has 2 parts to it, right? So one is you as an individual. If you think you are ready, right? Where you think you've actually done the best that you could have already. Now you probably want to see what more can you do, right? And what knowledge, what skill set, what fundamentals do you really need to work on to go beyond this, right? So that's one part of it. The other part is, yes, I think given the economic conditions, given what we're going through in last 1 year, I think it's a time that I mean, I probably think it's a right time to step back and see if I have to kind of gain some more knowledge, gain understanding of global economy, understanding of strategy, leadership, marketing, and see if you could use that knowledge for betterment, right? So I think, I mean, yes, it's a good time. I mean, it depends on individual to individual. You really have to assess yourself to see, are you ready for it now, or you probably want to take more time to think about it.
Right. Then we have a question is how to choose a program, like how different could a flagship program like a PGP be to a PGP Max program? So how to select between the two?
That's a very good question, and I think a lot of people reach out to me asking about it, right? So I think, and the answer is very, very clear and very simple. For me, all the three programs are meant for different audiences. I think if you're looking, if you are at your early career of 5, 6 years of experience, where you actually want to learn business, do an MBA, then I think PGP is the best program, which actually give you, I mean, it really gives you that knowledge, that skill set, that you can actually spend time with the class, being a full-time MBA graduate, right? And it also gives you the placements, right? So and placements in the probably the best of the best organizations. Then I think the PGP Pro, the second program that the ISB have, that's meant for mid-level management, people who actually are already managing teams, doing leadership roles, but lack some fundamental knowledge about business leadership, strategy, and marketing. Probably it's a good place for them, where they want to get those fundamentals. If they want to switch the industry, switch the career, that can also be a good place. PGP Max is very clearly meant for senior executives, people who have already achieved great in their career. Now they want to kind of build that network with similar senior leaders in the industry from different domains. I mean, build that network, get that knowledge from the best of the best faculty. Uh, I mean, may not necessarily be looking for a career change, because they already are performers in their industry, right? They want to get the knowledge, they want to see what more can they do, right? I think it's meant for those senior executives, where they want to go back to the class, get those fundamentals, get the knowledge required for senior executives. What does it really what does it really take for them to be in that CXO group, right? What do I really need to have now to be in CEO for a multinational organization? So that's the class that I think PGP Max is meant for.
Thank you, Sani. So there's one very interesting question I think you'd like to take on it. So what are your tips on how to balance your work and study and your personal life when you're doing this program?
I'm sorry, Smriti, can you repeat that?
Yeah. So what is your take on balancing your work and study and your personal life while doing the program?
Yeah, no, I think this is a very important question, and I think you have to think about it. I think it's not that simple. Of course, yes, you have classes for a week every month, but I think you actually would have to study and prepare for the classes. I think it needs commitment, and it needs support from your family, right? I mean, I have done it. I have family. I had my full-time job. It's not that difficult, but it certainly needs commitment from you, from your family, from your organization, to support you while you go through this journey. Uh, I think, I mean, if you're committed, if you actually have that aspiration to do big, if you really want to do this, do an executive MBA from the best of the best schools in the world, I think it needs that commitment, that dedication, and it needs support from your family, from your organization, for you to do that. Uh, it's doable, but it needs that dedication and commitment. And yes, I think other than the week's class that you attend every month, I think you have to spend time at least 2 to 3 hours every day outside of the class, in other weeks, to prepare, to do the pre-work for the class, to do the case studies, to read the case studies, and prepare for the class.
Sure. Thank you. So, next, I'd like to ask you is your opinion on the return of investment that these candidates would be doing, because, it's huge. And, what is your take on the ROI?
Right, I think that's another interesting question. I think a lot of people reach out to me asking this question, right? So again, it's not, it actually has multifaceted response to it, right? One, I think we sort of covered already, where you covered the metrics, some details about the change in the salary parameters, where I think before doing MBA, post doing MBA, what was the average salary for the executive MBA classes, right? So we sort of covered that already. That's one part of it, right? The other part, especially for PGPMAX, for the executive MBA, I think it's the value that get out of the class, right? The network that you build with your class and with your alums. You really have the industry leaders in your network, in your friend circle, where you could reach out to them. You could actually discuss any business problems with them. I mean, you get enormous opportunities to collaborate with them. I think, I mean, just recently, some of my class members got together, and they are doing they actually started investing in some startups, right? That wouldn't happen with any regular group. Here, you actually have the industry leaders, where different domain leaders come together, where they could brainstorm about investments, and they're doing it. I mean, there's enormous value that you get from the class. And I think, do not forget about the knowledge, the fundamentals that you build. And these fundamentals are not the, I mean, this is the knowledge areas that are required for you to go to that CXO pool that you really aspire to go, right? So there's enormous value, there's enormous return on the investment that you make with the executive MBA.
Sure.
I mean, you can actually measure that in your compensation, but I think you should not forget to measure that in terms of your network, in terms of your knowledge, in terms of your brand that you build being an ISB alum.
Right. Correctly said, Zain. So, a lot of times, we get these queries on how to approach your organization for getting a scholarship, or at least the support that is required to attend the classes for the PGPMAX.
Yeah, and I think, again, it depends on the organizations. A lot of organizations encourage their senior leaders to do the learning, participate in industry events, conferences, and they encourage their leaders to go and attend some workshops and classes and all. So for me, it wasn't that difficult in JP Morgan and Chase, where I was actually encouraged to do that. It was very easy for me to get the sponsorship from my organization. I think, having said that, of course, yes, it's not that simple for everyone. You really have to build a small case where you justify what value you could bring for your organization, right? I think there are, and I mean, I think you can actually Google out a simple business case template that you could actually work out and showcase that to your leaderships, kind of explaining them the value that you could bring for your organization, right? And again, I think the other part of that is you also want to show them that it's not going to impact your current work, being away from work for a week every month. And you could actually cover that as part of your business case on how you're going to manage your work while being away from work for a week every month. So you have to prepare it. You have to actually make sure your leadership is engaged. They are aware, they're informed about it, and they understand the value that you could bring to the organization attending this program.
Right. Thank you for that answer, Zain. So, one of the people, have asked this question, that how difficult is it for an executive with pure technical background to correlate with the financial domain jargons and the HR jargons? So, how do you deal with that?
I think that was a question that a lot of people from my class also had when we joined the program, right? I mean, because you're from technology background, you think it's difficult for you to understand finance. But trust me, the finance people in my class had the same question: would they understand marketing? Would they understand strategy that easily? Right? So I think the professors, the faculty make you understand that. I mean, they are the best in their industry. They are the best that you could get, and I think they really explain you in a way that you understand the concept, you understand what they're talking about, right? So not only that, your class cohort actually support you and they help you doing that. So every course have its assignments and projects to do, and the way they actually club the groups in the classes where every group would have an expert in that particular domain who could help you do that projects. I'll give an example. Say you're doing a marketing assignment. So the class of we had a class size of 68 people that was split with I think 6 people, 7 people of groups. Every group have someone with marketing experience that can actually help you do that assignment. And when you work on that assignment, that marketing expert would not only guide you, but he would share his or her experience about that particular assignment and probably some real-time experience of working on something similar outside in the industry. So I think I don't think your lack of knowledge on certain domain really matters. The faculty make sure they cover the details, and they make sure you understand the concept. And again, your class cohort makes you understand that they are experts, they're leaders in their domains, and I think they will ensure that you get the concept. And I mean, I think, and not only that, there's enormous material in library. Every class have its own support staff. You can actually reach out to any time to discuss any topics that you weren't able to understand in a greater detail. There's enormous support available to get that knowledge.
Thank you. So any last parting thoughts that you would like to share with our audience today?
Well, I think, as I said in the beginning, right? It's an investment that you have to really decide and think about. I mean, if you think you have achieved what you're capable of, and now you want to do something bigger than what you think, bigger than what you've achieved so far, and you want to get that tools, that knowledge, that fundamentals to achieve it, I think PGPMAX is the best program available in India, right? I think in fact globally as well. I mean, this ISB is a brand. The faculty is best in the class. The campus is amazing. There are a lot of resources, a lot of I mean, the faculty is available for you not only during the program but even after finishing the program as well. I think it's a program meant for senior executives. I think if you think you are at that position, you want to get that knowledge, get that fundamentals, then I think PGPMAX is the best program to go with. And again, now Smriti, I think feel free to share my details to the participant in case if anyone want to reach out to me, speak to me on one-on-one basis. Happy to speak to them. Happy to clarify any question that they may have.
Definitely, Sani. Thank you for sharing time on a Saturday evening with us, and enlightening us with your journey at the campus and the course. So thanks a lot, and I'll definitely share anybody who's interested to speak to you more about the program, and I'll share your details. Thank you so much for joining us, and audience, whoever of you have specific questions about the program, you can stay back and I'll allow you to talk to, ask your questions, and then we can proceed with the conversation. In the meantime, thank you, Zani. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Smriti. And thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye.
Bye. Please feel free to raise your hands and I'll allow you to talk to ask any specific questions about the program that you have. So yeah, I see a lot of hands here. Swati, I have allowed you to talk. You can unmute yourself and ask your question, please.
Yeah, hi Smriti, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, so in the slides that you were showing, right, you are saying the average salary is 251,000.
Right.
So how that does change for a person with a very less experience, right? Who is at the starting cut of like 10 years, 10 plus years.
So the figure that I showed there was an average salary of the class, and it was, on the basis of a survey that the Economist did for the EMBA rankings. So that is the average salary, and there is a 12% increase in the salary after graduation. That's
Right. So
another
is there
step.
any minimum salary criteria that for the eligibility criteria in terms of salary?
No, there's no eligibility criteria as a part of the salary. So the screening is entirely done on the profile and the references and the essays that you write. So there's no cutoff in terms of salary there.
There is no, okay. Okay, fine. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Varinder, I have allowed you to talk if you want to ask a question. Varinder, can you unmute yourself?
Hi, Smriti, can
Yes.
you hear me?
Hi. Yes, Varinder, I can hear you.
Yeah, I have a very specific question here. Like, I'm currently in USA and I'm working for Hitachi Metals Group, basically. But point here is like doing this course from India and coming once a week for every month. Like, it will not be possible. So, do we have any specific online classes which we can attend staying in USA?
See, Varinder, there are no online classes for this program. It's a completely campus-based experience that you'll have in this program. And, I know traveling would be difficult, every time for spending 1 week in
Yeah.
India, but we have few overseas alums or candidates for the PGPMAX program. And in case you want to connect with them to understand how they, dealt with this, I'll be very happy to connect them with you.
Mm-hmm.
So my contact number and
Yeah,
the
that would
email
be
ID is
helpful.
mentioned there. Please feel free to write and I'll connect them.
Perfect. Thank you.
Arun, you have a question. I have allowed you to talk. You can unmute yourself.
Hi,
Hi.
hi, Smriti.
Hi, Arun.
Actually, just wanted to know that as was mentioned that PGP Pro is for mid-level and PGP Max will be for senior executives. So for PGP Max, for the profile of solution architects working in, like I'm from Nokia, okay, and I'm from telecom background. So will that be fruitful to go for this particular program for PGP Max, or as per the recommendation, PGP Pro will be the better choice?
So how many years of experience did you say you
I
have?
have 13 plus.
Okay. So see, I'll tell you the difference between both the programs. So PGP Pro is for people having an experience in the range of, I think, 7 to 12 years of experience, and PGP Max is from 10 years plus. So, and the people who apply for the PGP Pro are more of middle level managers who are on their way to senior leadership or are looking forward to that. While PGP Max is for people having 10 plus years of experience, the average experience in the class is 16 years, and they are there on the road to a senior leadership team member, or they are looking ahead to join that. So that is the difference between both of them. The faculty that teaches PGP Max is the senior most faculty,
Okay.
because the audience is the senior leaders of the industry that we have as participants in the class. So, although you can apply for both, the format of PGP Pro is an alternate weekend format, while PGP Max is 1 week every 4 to 6 weeks. So, depending on the format that suits you, you can go ahead and apply for any of them.
Because actually I don't want to be, the odd one out if I, let's say, go for PGP Max and then, things will not be as per my expectation. But in PGP Pro, I will have the mid-level executives, or you can say the same group of people who are at almost at the same parallel level in the organizations.
See,
And
the average experience in the PGP Pro class is eight years. So,
okay.
your experience you said is 13 years, so there'll definitely be a mismatch there.
Okay.
Because the people in the class would be much lower in their experience than you. So I don't know if the learning will be up to your expectations, but yeah, the decision is up to you.
Okay. Last question before I conclude. So, if I go for PGPMAX, if I do apply for PGPMAX, is it possible to change to go into a diversified field? Let's say I'm from telecom, technical background. So, will it be easy enough to, or let's say even if difficult, but will it be feasible to move from pure technical to different domain altogether, like maybe marketing, finance, or strategy?
See, I'll not comment on how easy or difficult that it would be, but yeah, definitely it's possible.
Okay.
Why? Because it's a general management program. You'll not only be focusing on the technical aspects or the technical courses, but also the other aspects of management, like finance, HR, or operations. So when you go back to your organizations, suppose you have to prepare a project plan. So earlier, when you were preparing a project plan, it was mostly on a technical side, but after going through the program, you'll be able to present it from all the aspects, like the financial aspect or the HR aspect. So these things definitely add value in your organizations, and these are the things which increase your visibility when you're there. So that will help you to.
So PGPMAX also will have the career placements after the course finish?
No, career placements are not a part of the program, Arun. So career transition services is definitely a part of, and you can definitely avail those services to help you transition into it.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Arun. Sorry, your name is not there, so I'm just calling you by the name that is mentioned, Galaxy J2 Core. So you raise your hand if you have a question. Please feel free to ask. I have allowed you to talk. Okay. Vijay Maheshwari, if you have a question, I have allowed you to talk. You can unmute yourself.
Yeah, hi, Smriti.
Hi.
Yeah, so I have two questions. The first is, what are the composition of participants? Are they from country India only, or you have some global participants also in the course?
So we have global participants in the course as well. So in the past batch, we did not because of the pandemic, but we have, yes, we have international participants also in that course.
Okay. Second question is related to this pandemic only. Now, I'm not sure how things are going to work out. So in that case, are we going to have online classes, or it's going to be an on-campus kind of classes?
See, for the current classes that are going on, the first 2 terms were online because they're not allowed to come to the campus. But January end or February onwards, they'll be coming to the campus for their classes. So I'm assuming August will be much better and you will be allowed to come to the campus.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Smriti.
Thank you. Preeti, you have a question. I have allowed you to talk if you want to ask a question.
Hi, Smriti.
Hi.
I have 2 questions. You have already described us about the programs, and that was wonderful to listen to Hussaini also. So for the PGPMAX, I have acknowledged that, and listening to all that thing, that I may not be a right fit for that program. But when you simultaneously, he also mentioned, and you mentioned about PGP Pro. So I might fit into that because I am a middle management person, and plus with an experience, but I have another question relating to it. So there are certain people who are already MBAs, and probably they're not grown much in their life, or probably they want to grow more, and are a certain level where they want to furnish and harness their skills more. Because probably I have done my MBA from an institute which is not though popular as a brand like ISB. So how do I garner my skills and opt for the programs which is suitable for me, along with my working experience and working in the organization?
See, you're talking about when you join a program or without joining a program?
No, joining a program. So because salary will always be then a factor. Then second, experience will be there, but there are certain challenges which I face, which I am listening to the programs you have already designed. So just my question here is, first is, should I can I subscribe or apply for PJP Pro? Second is, do we have something for the candidates or nominations who are really aspiring to be graduated from a good institute still after pursuing for work, and they want to aspire something good in their life so that they can grow further?
Right. So, Preeti, before I answer that question, how many years of experience do you have?
I have 14 years of experience.
Okay. So, Preeti, you are, by virtue of the number of years of experience, you are eligible to apply for both the programs. This answers one of your questions. And then the second question is, when you join a program, either it be a PGP Pro or PGP Max. So before you come into the program, you will be given online preparatory modules. These we call as the Harvard online courses. So these will be given to you before you join the class to brush up your skills or understand the basic concepts of accounting, finance, spreadsheet modeling, economics. So before you come to the class, you'll be well versed with these concepts so that you do not lag behind before the classes start. At the time the classes start, and since you'll already be knowing these topics, you'll be able to catch up whatever the faculty teaches when they start the class. And their expectation is also that you come prepared with these preparatory modules so that it will help you gain a better understanding when you are discussing with your peers or listening to a faculty in the class. So that is something you look forward to. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, Samriti, thank you. But the question I was asking you was maybe a challenge in terms of a screening process. So you have various parameters to screen a person, right?
Right.
We can get through all the applications, we can have essay questions, we can have references in terms of educational profile, you can have references from your professional background too. But salary then again will be a question for you.
See, salary is not a selection criteria or evaluation criteria. So, and all the sections that I mentioned in the application, you will have sections on your work experience, your education, your references, your essays, everything. So all of them will carry a weightage point. And at the end of the screening, the combined score will be taken into account while shortlisting you for the interview.
Okay. And one last question is that if though you have described the PGP Max format in a very beautiful way, how can I know about PGP Pro as a program with such a brief description or maybe a know-how?
So PGP Pro also does these info sessions. If you go through the website, so you can
Okay.
register to one of them, and probably they'll help you understand the program in a better way to make your sound decision.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Vijay, you have a question. I have allowed you to talk. Vijay, do you have a question? No problem. Preeti, I have allowed you to talk in case you have a question. Share.
No, Smriti, thanks. I have already
Sure.
asked the questions.
Sure. Okay, thank you. Vijay, I think you unmuted yourself for the question.
No, I think Smriti, I had already asked the question.
Okay, sure. No problem. Thank you. Savita, do you have a question? I have allowed you to talk.
Hello, Smriti.
Hi, Savita. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really impressed with the presentation that you have just given on PGPMAX course. Yeah. And I would definitely like to join. But before that, I have a question. It's like I have 10 plus years of work experience with companies like Benetton, Daksh, and HCL, and majorly in HR field. My last designation was HR manager.
Okay.
Yeah. However, now I am doing my own business along with my husband. Am I eligible for this course? Because it's been 4 years that I'm working on my own business.
Right. So, Savita, you can join the program. We, as I spoke, we have, we focus on the diversity in the class, this program, and entrepreneurs or startup founders also are a part of the program. So you can very well apply, just that you need to meet the minimum eligibility criteria, which is a bachelor's degree with a 10+ years of work experience.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Savita. Deepti, I have allowed you to talk if you have a question.
Hi, Smriti. Am
Hi,
I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, thank you. Once again, it was an insightful session, Smriti.
Thank you so much.
Got a lot of new learnings and really excited about this course. I had a query related to the scholarship, women executive scholarships, and the percentage of the scholarship that will be allowed. Could you please? Yeah.
So see, the percentage of scholarship that will be allowed is in the range of 20 to 25% of the tuition fees. So that is the range of scholarship, and women entrepreneurs are given a preference among the categories that we have. So you can definitely apply for a scholarship, and your chances are good for getting a scholarship there. But it also depends on the scores that you have received. So somebody say she also has applied in the same category, and she has got better scores, so her chances would to get a scholarship would be much better than yours. So that's how it works. I hope
Thanks,
that
Smriti.
answers
That
your
helps. Yep, it does. Thank you.
Aarti, I have allowed you to talk if you have a question.
Hi, Smriti.
Hi, Aarti.
Yeah, thanks for the informative session. It kind of provided answers to many questions. I have two questions basically. One is with respect to the references, right? Professional references that is mandatory as a part of the application process. Is there a definite structure that we need to adhere to, or how is it basically?
So for references, basically, when you're filling up your application, there's a section called evaluations. So once you go to that, you'll have to fill in the details of your references, and email will go to them with a link. So once they open the link, it will have a few questions that they need to write about you. So basically, your strengths, your weakness, how do they know about you, and how do they think PGPMAX will benefit you. So these are some sort of questions that will be there that they need to answer, and they can submit it directly. So that completes your evaluations.
Okay. And the other one was with respect to the admission timelines. It says round 2. The round 2 is in progress at the moment. So once you apply, your application is complete. How long does it take for us to know whether we've been shortlisted, or what is the next stage, like the entire process? Is it there somewhere on the site where I can go to and check upon?
No, it's not mentioned there on the website, but I'll tell you. So once you submit your application, say if you submit it by 21st March, so typically if your application is complete with all the documents and reference checks and everything, so then you'll hear back from us within 10-15 days on the shortlist for the interview. And once the interview happens, it will take another 10-15 days to get the results out. So 30 to 45 days timeline is what you should expect after completing your application.
And the support letter from the organization, right? That is not needed as a part. Is that mandatory as a part of the application, or it can be furnished later as well?
Yeah, it can be furnished later. If you can submit it at the time of application, well and good. Otherwise, you can also submit it at the time of joining the course.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you, Arti. Kiran, you have a question. I have allowed you to talk.
Thank you. Thank you for your nice presentation.
Thank you, Kiran.
I would like to know, I missed one slide actually. There was one slide regarding 63% or something you were telling. I missed that presentation deck. So would you please explain by going back to
Just a second, you let me know which slide are you referring to. 63%. Is this the one you're talking about?
can you come 12%? No, can you come further?
This one?
Not this one. No. I'm sorry. Can you go forward, please? Slowly.
Is this the one?
No. Can you go forward? Yeah, this not necessary. Not this one. Can you go forward? Yeah, this one, I think. This one. Yeah.
Sure. So, this was the study done by the Financial Times in July 2020. So, they interviewed a few alums and asked them to recommend an EMBA program. So, 80% of the alumni likely recommended the EMBA program. So these are the stats, like less likely, likely and very likely. So 63%. So nearly 2 out of the 3 alumni likely recommended an EMBA program. And the percentage increase in salary in 2020 as compared to 2019 was 12%, the people who graduated. And the number of queries for PGPMAX has increased to 130% in 2020 as compared to 20.
Okay. What does it mean by queries? Increase in queries?
So it depicts the interest of the EMBA program, about the EMBA program that people have. So in my earlier slide, I said that although the sponsorships from the organizations are on a downward trend, but the applications received for the EMBA programs are on the increasing trend. So this shows that the interest of the people in an EMBA program. So that's what I wanted to say.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, Kiran. Naveen, you have a question. I have allowed you to talk.
Yeah. Hi, ma'am. So my question is around one of the previous asks itself. So when you say the deadline is March 21st, so will you be waiting for all the applications to be submitted till March 21st and then start the process?
No, it's a rolling admission process, Naveen. If you are ready with your application, you can go ahead and submit your application.
Okay, so the filtering will, the selection process will start as soon as I submit my application.
Yes.
Okay, and also the second question, you mentioned LinkedIn profile. So what are the things that ISB will be looking into the LinkedIn profile? Is it?
So it's not mandatory, but if you want to have your profile reviewed to apply for the program, you can share your resume or your LinkedIn profile, updated LinkedIn profile, to understand your professional journey, so that we can advise you to apply for the program.
Yes, I understand that, but on the LinkedIn profile, do you look for some kind of references and the network?
No references, just your professional journey.
Okay, understood. And I was the old student of CBA program, that is AML, Artificial Intelligence Machine Learning program.
Right.
15 batch. So how would you recommend? This is like a general MBA program. It's more kind of a general MBA program. So somebody who has done kind of a specialization, I would consider CBA as a specialization in artificial intelligence. So you recommend this program too. So I'm eligible in all the base concepts, like on experience, and then the designation I hold here, and the aspirations. So those things are matching. And my concern is only like I have already done some kind of a specialization. How would you recommend taking a general MBA course too?
It depends on your requirements of a program. So, if you want to upskill yourself in terms of all the areas, corporate areas, the general program is the answer for you. So you can go ahead for the EMBA program, but if you're looking for a specific functional knowledge, so then I think you should go ahead for the specialized programs.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Rachit, you have a question? I think I'm not able to, allow you to talk. So. Now I think you can mute yourself and speak. Okay. Ajay, I have allowed you to talk in case you have a question.
Yeah, Smriti, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, first of all, thanks for the wonderful session. It was very informative. For my questions, I put that on chat, but I just wanted to understand how many applicants do you typically receive for these programs?
So see, I'll not be able to disclose the number of applications that we receive, but the selection
Can you tell the
is,
percent? Yes, the ratio will also.
Ratio is a 3:1 ratio that we have.
3:1. Okay. And from a sponsorship perspective, would you be able to help us understand that if 10 apply, how many would get? Or is there a limitation that out of the batch that you have 70, how many people would actually get? Is there a limitation on the number of people that can get
So there's
scholarship?
no limitation on the number of scholarships that are received, but typically if we see the trend, there are in a batch of 70, around 10-15 people receive the scholarships in total.
I see. Okay, and I had a question on the format, but I believe somebody had asked that question on the references, so I'm good. So those were the 3 questions I had. Thank you.
Ajay.
Thank you.
Rishikesh, you have a question. I have allowed you to talk.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks for the presentation. So I would like to understand, ma'am, this is considered as executive MBA program, right?
Right.
And normally when we apply for the companies, so they prefer the full-time MBAs.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you benchmark yourself or position yourself from the future perspective?
See, when speaking to your organization, you can tell about the format of the program. So there's no opportunity cost involved when you are, doing a PGPMAX program, because you will be working at the same time. You'll also be on the learning curve, because you'll be coming to the campus for 1 week and then you'll be going back and applying your knowledge in, your professional work. So, this is something you can use as a talking point when speaking to your organization to allow you to attend that program.
Okay. And considering the COVID situation, ma'am, how confident you are for this on-campus batches?
See, as the classes are starting in August, it seems quite positive that, we'll be able to bring you all on campus for the classes. It looks quite positive.
And in the worst case scenario, if it doesn't happen, do you have a backup plan? So do you plan to conduct?
So see, I'll tell you how the classes were conducted for the current batch. So the classes started a bit late because of the pandemic, but we started it online. 2 to 3 terms were online, and then Jan end of February onwards, they'll be starting to come on campus for their classes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Soumyajit, you have a question. I have allowed you to talk. Soumyajit, do you want to ask a question? No. Amit, I have allowed you to talk. Sorry, Soumyajit, you can ask a question now.
Yes, am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are.
Yes. See, basically what I'm looking as an entrepreneur, as a startup, is how this program would benefit me and the people working in the organization in terms of leadership skills and in terms of growing the business over generations, right?
Sorry, I was not able to get your question, Swamiji. Can you come again,
So,
please?
I pardon once again, right? As a startup, uh, how this program would benefit me and the people working in my organization in terms of leadership skills and to grow the business over generations.
Sure.
Can you get my questions, right?
Right. I did get your
Right.
question. So,
Right.
Swamiji, we have people who are coming from the startup arena in the PGPMAX class. So, what happens in this class is when you have peers from 70 different industries, and when you're discussing a problem or a case, so you get 70 different perspectives of solving that area. So this happens for every subject that is taught to you. So when you are a startup founder, you have to look at all these areas: finance, HR, operations.
See, as a founder, what I believe is that from the very beginning, I used to sit in a wooden table, right, with 3 to 4 chairs. Now I came across with different kind of setups in terms of infrastructures, in terms of developments in my business over decade, right? In terms of reputations earning, because I'm the richest man in terms of reputation building, not in terms of well building. But still, I look forward to take my business across pan-India locations, right? Even I'm expanding, so I think that I need not have to go to Yaksha to learn the tricks of the trades, because if I know the tricks of doing the business in the way it seems like.
So it's not about the tricks of the trade. It's about, you might be thinking about a specific problem in a certain way, because your thought process is built up like that. But, when you join a class of 75 different people, your, thought process is diversified in terms of, your horizons, clear up.
So thinking is really difficult. Thought process is really difficult, but judging a problem and getting it into solved in the right manner is a greater solution out of it, right?
Right. So that's what I'm saying. When you get a perspective to a problem, 65 or 70 different perspectives to a problem. So then you start thinking about it in a different way than you usually used to do. And, that's how your horizons are expand, and you start thinking about different solutions to the same problem. So that's what happens when you join the class.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Swamiji. Amit, you have a question. I have allowed you to talk.
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. Right. So my question is very specific to my profile specifically. I started my career as a frontline sales guy. I have a total work experience of 19.5 years now. And since last 5 years, I'm working as a state head with Airtel and working as a DGM here. So how do you think that this particular program is going to benefit, and whether with my kind of experience I have, because I've got front line, then middle management now. Still, I'm part of middle management only. I work as a DGM here in Airtel, right? So, do you think that this program is going to benefit me at all, and which is going to be the right program for me, whether the Max or the Pro?
So, Amit, before I answer your question, how many years of experience do you have after your bachelor?
I have a total of 19.5 years now.
Okay. See, Amit, how does this course help you is when you join a program like PGPMAX or any EMBA program. So, as I was speaking to Swamiji, when you are in a class of 75 different people, so it expands your horizons in terms of, getting solutions to a problem or understanding a problem looking at a problem, in fact, in a different way. So whenever you go back to your organization and present a solution which you faced in your real life. So before you do PGPMAX and after you do PGPMAX, you'll yourself feel a lot of difference while you present a solution. So that is the kind of learning that happens at the program. So you're your thought processes, get changed. Your idea of looking at a problem change. You you don't have only one solution for a problem. You have multiple solutions, and you have logic behind all of these solutions. So, if that answers your question.
Thanks.
Thank you. Naveen, you have a question?
Yes, ma'am. So I'm really looking for a classroom education when it comes to PGPMAX and the in-campus experience. So if any uncertain conditions, if it is going to be online, will there be any option to hold it to the next batch?
See, Naveen, if it is going to be online and that's what your expectation is of a program, you are allowed one deferral in the program. So by deferral, I mean you have to accept the offer and then you have to, request for a deferral. So by deferral, I mean you have accepted the offer, but you'll be joining the class next year.
Yes.
By paying the fees of the next. So that option is available.
Yes, that option is part of CBA too. So I just wondered if it is there for PGPMAX.
No,
Thank you.
Thank you. Shreyans, I have allowed you to talk if you have a question.
Hi, Smriti.
Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you so much for your wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
Just I would like to know, I have half filled my ISPG Pro applications, but based on this presentation and concept, I am much eligible for this program.
Okay.
I am a qualified chartered accountant. I have a 20 years experience. So
Right.
probably I am qualified for PGPMAX program,
Right.
not PGP Pro program.
Right.
So what I will do, because I have half filled the application and one evaluator also submitted his evaluation form also.
It's okay. You can, start filling out the PGPMAX application. It will nowhere hamper your candidacy for PGPMAX.
Okay. Just one more questions. Whether the criteria for PGP Pro is 12-year maximum experience, or it's an not mention anything in the website.
So
Minimum 5.
although it's a 12-year max, but nobody can stop you from, applying for PGP Pro if you feel like. So, you can go ahead and apply for that as well.
No, one of my colleague told me that you may be rejected on account of that you have higher experience and you are
So
applying
see,
for
in the
PGP.
interview, there might be a question raised on, your intention to join PGP Pro while PGPMAX was available to you. So if you have a justified answer there, I don't think anybody can stop you.
Okay. But PGPMAX is for senior leaders.
Yes. As per your experience, you are more suitable for PGP.
Smriti, can I send you my profile, and based on my profile, you can give your recommendation?
Sure. I'll do that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Himanshu, you have a question? I've allowed you to do.
Hey, hi Smriti. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
I have a few questions. One of them is the support letter from the employer. Is this like a hard requirement to have a support letter from the employer?
Right. It is a hard requirement because, this is not a full-time program where you leave your job and come to attend the classes. You will be, doing your classes for 1 week and then going back to your organization for your work, and then again coming back. So your organization needs to be in sync with the leaves that you need to take to attend these classes. So that's the reason letter of support is mandatory. Although it's not mandatory at the time of filling the application, but you will need to submit it at the time of joining the course at least.
Okay, and it's just like a letter. It's not letter of financial support. It's general letter that
It's a letter of support. They might be giving you financial support or they might not, but at least in terms of leaves, they are okay with giving you those leaves to attend the program. That's what we want to know about.
Okay. And few more questions. So one is a recommendation from, is it required from current colleagues only or past colleagues as well?
Past colleagues also will do. It's just that they need to be professionally associated with you, and it should not be your personal contact.
Okay. And what about, if I am also working on my startup, so can I also, instead of my support from my current employer, can I give it from from a startup perspective as from entrepreneurship, like because I'm also working on my startup. So will that work instead of support from the employer in case I'm involved in both the organizations?
See, if at the time of joining the course, you are associated with your organization, you'll have to give the letter of support from your organization.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have left your organization and you're working on your startup, then letter of support will not be.
Not be required. Okay. In case it's
In case you're not, huh? So,
in case I'm working on my own startup. Okay.
Right.
Okay. These are the questions I have for now. If I have any questions, I'll
Sure.
email you.
You can definitely reach out to me.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. So M. Raj, I see your question in the chat box. You wanted to know more about scholarships available. So as I speak, I'll just go back to the slide. So these are the scholarships that we have. So these are the 5 categories of scholarship. One is for people working in the Indian Defense, then people working in the PSU and the government sector, then executives from the social sector that we give preference, then women executives and entrepreneurs, and then there comes the merit-based scholarship. So it's not in the order of ranking, it's just the 5 categories of scholarships that we have. Merit-based scholarship, it depends on the scores that you receive in your application, screening and interview. And depending on the scores that you have received, and if you have applied for a scholarship, so generally you need to apply for a scholarship at the time you hear from us, on your shortlist for the interview. So once you write us an email stating your request for a scholarship, and if you fall in the merit-based scholarship, depending on your scores, your request is taken up with the admissions committee, and they decide to, give you a scholarship or not. And it all depends on the scores that you have received during the screening and interview. I hope that answers your question. Thank you. If anybody of you have any questions, I'm still there, and you can raise your hand, and we can ask you any questions. So Himanshu, you have a question, I see.
Oh no, I already asked my questions.
Sure,
Thank you.
no problem. So thank you everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the session, and I look forward to all of you, filling up your PGPMAX applications and seeing you at the campus. Thank you so much.